G'day, Steel Nation. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. My early time at 7 a.m. And we're 8 days to go. 8 days until the Pittsburgh Steelers play the Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins in their stadium. I woke up today, and I really shouldn't do this, but I do it all the time because I'm invested in the news, I'm invested in the Steelers, I'm invested to see what happens next in terms of social media and our team. And I looked around the internet on YouTube videos, which I'll point out shortly, and Twitters and comments and podcasts everywhere. If you're involved in this space now, if you click this video and you are welcome to HDU, Hooley Dooley University, and also Steelers Nation Australia on YouTube, you're also surrounded by another 1,000 podcasts or 1,000 tweets out there or Facebook or wherever. It's all around us. That's how we consume ourselves with the Steelers media and NFL coverage in total. But I woke up this morning, I checked a few things online, and it feels like we're the worst team in the NFL. Like overnight, like legit overnight, the last few days, because the Ayuk stuff, the Brandon Ayuk trade didn't go through. Has failed miserably. I'll get to that in a minute. But they failed miserably. And Omar Khan has done really bad things and can't get the deal. And he's missed windows to go and purchase other receivers to fill in receiver two and failed. That are we the worst team in the NFL? Like legit, over the last 2 or 3 days since the Brandon Ayuk trade, that didn't happen. By the way, I'm so thankful first of all, that it's over. And secondly, there was only really one time. There was one time when I really got pumped up and I thought maybe it could happen when you saw all the sources being leaked and Pittsburgh Steelers media, 3 or 4 or 5 guys out there who were connected slightly to the team. Not that they were the team's representation, but they were connected somehow, some way. And they were talking about, there could be a chance it might happen tomorrow. I was in on it. Other than that, it didn't make sense. It made no sense to go and spend all that money, have the highest paid guy on the team. You've got a defense we're looking after. And yeah, there's the idea of, we're really receiver two. The receiver two friggin' nonsense is just a joke at the moment. I believe in Van Jefferson. I believe in Roman Wilson can hopefully get out of his injury ways and go on the field and provide good football. And we don't need to be spectacular. We don't need someone to go crazy and all pro. Just need someone to get a few yards a game and get the ball to Pickens, get the ball to Najee and Warren. And our receiver two is going to be Frymouth. Anyways, going back a bit. I woke up and I look around the internet, and it feels like that overnight we've turned into the Browns. Overnight we've turned into the Cincinnati Bengals, who cannot win a championship. They're 0-3 in 57 years. Overnight, the Steelers, some of the fan base, and a lot of the NFL media is just been attacking, maybe not overnight, but like over the last few months and now leading up to, is like, the Falcons are going to win this game 27-13. Right? When did that happen? This has been a really good offseason, but getting 2 quarterbacks. Now, of course, that Wilson will start. All right. And there's a lot of pressure on him to play good football because the media will tear him to shreds. Steelers fans will tear him to shreds. If he doesn't play good football in Atlanta in the first quarter, you'll hear Yinzes from Acrisure Stadium or Heinz Field yelling out saying, "Fire Wilson." But overnight, it feels like, we're the worst team in the NFL. And I feel like that the fan base has forgotten about the Browns. They've forgotten about the Bengals. They've forgotten about a lot of things, even maybe the Commanders or the Giants or the New York Jets are another one injury away from Aaron Rodgers hurting his ankle again to being a really bad team. Or the Arizona Cardinals have done nothing in a long time. The Steelers are being thrown under the bus or under the rug in a certain sense. In all betting markets all around the USA, the Steelers are now 4th to win their division, right? I did my AFC North roundtable with the fellas, with Zim, Zay, Bobby from the Ravens, and we went back and forth, and most times, or every single AFC North host besides me, put the Steelers 4th. But I had to remind them that the Steelers haven't come 4th in the division since 1988. Go back a while, go back. I was born in 1989. That's 35 years ago. We haven't come last since that point. I had the Steelers, and I'll try and find the image here. I had the Steelers 11, 11-6, and the Ravens 11-6. It's going to be a very tight race near the end. Steelers versus Bengals are last week. Steelers versus Chiefs. I'm waiting to see when I go to Pittsburgh. Steelers versus Chiefs Christmas Day. I'm hoping that the Steelers win the division the same way they won it versus the Ravens on 2016. We beat the Chiefs and we go 11 wins or 12 wins that day, and then we cannot lose the division the next week, right? But that is absolutely wild to me that it feels like some of the fan base has given up before it's even started. Some of the NFL media, some of the other NFL teams out there, the Browns and the Bengals, you have your because X, Y, Z, because you guys have your O-line is banged up because of the injuries. Yeah, it's banged up. You haven't got a receiver too. Omar Khan's making mistakes. You're getting a washed up quarterback. But we haven't even begun the season yet. But then you also, right, in terms of the division, we were 5-1 last year with Kenny Pickett, Trubisky, and Rudolph. And the defense got better in the offseason. Nick Herbig's been an absolute star. Keanu Benton on the defensive line. I don't need to tell you guys, he's been a star. Hayward, I think he'll have a bounce back season after his injury. Ogunjobi's looked good out there. DeMarvin Leal looked fantastic on the line. So defensively speaking, the Steelers got better in the offseason, and you still see and hear fans, media, and some Pittsburgh Steelers fans saying the world's over, it's all going to end, we're going to come last and we're the worst team in the NFL. Or we have no chance of making the playoffs. What's the point? Well, the point is we're 8 days away from Steelers versus Falcons, and I reckon that's one of the key games again because all offseason, it happens every year. Remember that year last year? A few years ago, it was Steelers versus Bills, and they counted us out, and we beat the Bills 26 to something. Remember the year too when it was Trubisky starting against the Bengals and it was going back and forth. We won the game against the Bengals. They had a missed field goal. Minkah Fitzpatrick had a blocked field goal. And speaking of blocked field goals, Miles Killebrew is a really, really valuable team player to this team. There are guys like that. Cameron Johnson, the punter, Chris from 46 signed a contract with us too. Chris Boswell is an underrated kicker as well. Not the media doesn't talk about Boswell that much, which I like because he's under the radar. And most of our Steelers are on the radar. Then they made a big play in getting Patrick Queen and Elena Roberts working together. Peyton Wilson being the rookie, and he's going to jump into this defense. Corey Trice has bounced back from his injury concerns. JPJ on the outside as well. It's a lot of pieces are like, I think the Steelers are being taken for granted for. The fact that a lot of people out there are saying we're the worst team, or we're what feels like we're the worst team. We can't win the division. You can't win 11 games. Saw some people saying we're going to win 7 games, 6 games. Not going to happen. Under Mike Tomlin and this team, they always have a great chance to do something into the playoff push. Only one time in Mike Tomlin's career, one time has he played a game or coached a game for the Steelers that there was no playoff implications, where he could not get into the playoffs or he had zero chance. You can look that up. Only one time. Out of his whole career, people rag him out, right? One time. Every other game, there's always been a chance or a window to get into the playoff push, to go the next step. Only one time. And you have these fan bases out there that haven't done much. The Browns have done nothing in a long time, since 1950. The Bengals have had recent success, right? Going to Super Bowls, but they've lost it. And they're all fired up. They're allowed to be fired up. But the Steelers have never came last. Never. So if anything, we have a 1-3 shot to at least go, 1, 2, 3, to first to third. And I think they can win 11 to 12 games, maybe 13 if we're lucky. We'll get some things going our way. But a lot of talent on this team. And we've had a good offseason. Oh, by the way, I was gonna show you. Check this out right here for me to end this video. And this is what kind of fired me up because I see this stuff in the, and I don't know if it's more the American media and the American culture always going towards the negative and like, oh, we can't do anything. Makes no sense to me. But check this out. My good mate Steel's report out there, who I think is a rubbish channel, by the way. Shout out to you, mate. He said Omar Khan just failed the Pittsburgh Steelers miserably. In what sense did he fail them? Because he didn't land a massive receiver? In what sense did he fail this team? Omar Khan has been nothing but a blessing for this team, doing great back-to-back drafts, and he's only starting his general manager spot with the Steelers. Been there 2 years. I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm going to leave that last bit there for you. I think that's one of the most wildest takes. I think Steelers Report is one of the stupidest channels out there. It's fear-based Steelers suck content. I think it's fucking awful. So I'm going to leave that with you. And here it is again. Well, it's still there. In what world has Omar Khan just failed the Pittsburgh Steelers miserably? In what world? Which world are we living in?